Welcome to another one of these things, and today I'm taking a look at another version of Doom on a 90s console. It's been a busy year for those. This time it is an update for the Sega Saturn version. Now last year, the Sega Saturn version got an update that was 0.2.1, and that was for this right here. This is the SegaXtreme Saturn, and last year was the 30th anniversary Homebrew Showcase. Basically, it's a sort of competition where people make homebrew and show off their projects. But it's really cool, and I really recommend you guys go to SegaXtreme and check out all the other projects that were submitted this year, because there's some really cool stuff. But person by the name of the Faffling last year released an update for specifically the Japanese version of Doom on the Sega Saturn, and improved the performance dramatically to the point where it's actually playable and competitive in some respects with the PlayStation version. This year, they also released another update, 0.3, and that's what I'm taking a look at today. Here's a look at the change list of things that were done to improve performance further, and they even went through the trouble of putting this side-by-side comparison together showing the performance improvements. You can see the original Japan release in the demo runs at 11.5 frames per second on average, and the latest 0.3 release is 29.6. So yeah, definitely a massive improvement and awesome to say the least now. Okay, so I'm here at the main menu. I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to start with Doom 2 this time, because I know I've done some videos already this year playing through E1M1 and Doom 1 and get tired of that. So I'm going to jump into Doom 2 and see how it runs, especially because Doom 2 runs a little worse than Doom 1 with the bigger levels and higher enemy count. So I'm just going to jump right in here. Okay, so right off the bat, you can see it runs very smoothly. It runs very smooth. A couple additions that I can already see. So in the bottom right corner here, the number 0 has been added. It used to just be the number 1. Now that results in it looking a little kind of squished, but I think it's a good choice because you can tell without having to guess whether or not you have your fists or your chainsaw out. Before it was just a number 1 for both. So that's kind of cool. One of the other additions, I believe, is that last year you could only cycle forward with the weapons by pressing the Y button. Now, if you hold down B and press Y at the same time, you can cycle backwards. So that's actually pretty useful. So performance looks good. One of the most distinguishable things about the Saturn version of Doom is the firing rate of the weapons. You can tell the pistol looks like a kind of mini chain gun because it is firing, I think, 25% faster than other versions of Doom, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what was said, but it's faster. You think it's faster? Yeah, it's faster. Now that does change the feel of the game a bit. It makes it a bit easier, but it also runs your ammo out quicker, so you have to be a little bit more decisive. But I think it's cool because it distinguishes this game from other versions of Doom. If you want to play the, you know, rapid fire version of Doom, here's your option. Every other version of Doom, the weapons fire kind of slowly. So it is, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. One other thing you may notice is the walking speed is a little slow. It feels a little sluggish compared to other versions of the game. But the run speed is up there with some of the fastest, I think. It feels really snappy when you're running around. But when you're walking, it takes forever to get from point A to point B. See, the fire rate on the shotgun is much faster. You can clear out rooms full of enemies with the shotgun much easier in this version of the game. Again, I can see that appealing to some people. Yes, I know I hit those in the wrong order, but I don't really care. So I'm going to play through just the first few levels here. Maybe first 3 or 4. Now, this should be noted, I am playing on a Saru. I'm not playing off a disc. And I'm not playing off like a high-end ODE, so this is what you get on a Saru, which is cool. I think it runs extremely well. But I know it's not indicative of what it would be like if you're playing on a disc. But so far I haven't seen any major hiccups or anything. I did update the firmware on my Saru before playing the recorded version here. I tried it on the original firmware. Not the original, I had updated once before. I don't know what version it was on, but I was getting some sound glitching So updated to the latest firmware 0.9 and no issues. As you can see, it looks like it's running extremely well. So the Fafling did mention that open areas still drop down to like as low as low teens FPS wise at times. So it does still struggle at times, but it is much more playable and it's very enjoyable now. I actually last year played through, I don't remember if I went all the way through Doom 2, but I played through most of the game with the update that he released last year, 0.2.1, and that was, it was just a very pleasant experience overall. And that was something I never thought I'd say about the Saturn version of Doom. And see how fast the super shotgun reloads. That's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna go to the end of the level here. You can see the frames dropping there with a room full of enemies like that. So here's a big open room, ton of enemies in here. I mean, there's a lot of enemies in here. It's probably at like 10 FPS or so right now. It's pretty low. But it still feels responsive, and it's funny, like, I think it kind of ticks up a bit the more you clear it. And because the guns shoot so quickly, you can clear the enemies out pretty fast. You almost feel overpowered in this version of the game. Which I actually kind of enjoy. You can see them clipping through the wall a little bit there. But that's not a huge issue. I don't even know, that may have happened in the original version of the game. I believe there were some fixes done to texturing as well that the PlayStation version actually kind of screwed up because of how it handles texturing. I think the resolution's kind of odd, so it was stretching some stuff, and I think it's been unstretched in this version. I'm not sure, but I think that's one of the things I read about in the little changelog there. But the changes are extensive even this year over last year's, because last year was unbelievable, honestly. Just to be able to play on a Sega Saturn and enjoy it is crazy. Alright, so this is a good level to see the performance drops on. This part right here in particular gets hit pretty hard. You can see how choppy it is. It's just almost a slideshow at times. Now it'd be interesting to fire up the PlayStation version for comparison's sake, because I'm not sure how it performs in scenarios like that. I'm not sure any console from the 90s would do well with big open rooms with tons of enemies in it like that, but definitely it takes a hit here. That's okay. It recovers nicely, so you can... It's not like it's a permanent thing that just mars the entire experience. Just occasionally. Now, later on in this game, with some of the bigger levels, who knows? I'm sure it's pretty rough at times, but again, I'm not sure how you fix that, given the hardware at the time, so... Now, like the PlayStation version, because it runs on passwords, when you die, you don't have to just settle for, you know, okay, I guess I'll just start like this. No. You can go pause it, password, just hit A, and it should load. Your last save, or your password you received when you entered the level, and you get all your stuff back. So that's just a hot tip in case you're playing this. It also works on the PlayStation version, in case you didn't know. So you can get all your stuff back if you die just by going and doing the password. And if you enter a level and you miss the password... Ooh, hello. Oh, that's a lot of guys. Love, there's the accelerated pace of the shotgun in action right there. This comes in handy so well. But if you miss the password and enter the level by accident, like maybe you hit a button you didn't mean to, you can always just pause, go back to the password, and there's your password right there. So you can always get it after you've started the level too. So don't freak out if you miss it. So you really didn't. Where are they at? I saw them. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna get torn apart by these demons down there. Okay, good. The Crusher. Well, there you have it. The new and improved Doom for Sega Saturn. Who would have ever thought that would A, be possible, or B, anyone would bother taking the time to do it? But I'm glad it happened because it's actually a very enjoyable version of the game now. I actually like the fact that the weapons fire faster. I know that's controversial among people, but I think it gives it character and helps it stand apart from the rest of the versions of Doom out there. And so I'm probably going to play through this just to see how much has changed. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there for now. As always, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Till next time.